In 1997, the Arizona desert stretched endlessly under a white, burning sky. Heat waves shimmered above the asphalt, and the lonely highway hummed with passing trucks and motorcycles. 17-year-old Lily walked along the roadside, her shoes worn thin, her throat dry, and her heart heavy with exhaustion. She was a runaway. No phone, no money, no one waiting for her anywhere. All she owned was a faded backpack filled with a spare shirt, a half-empty water bottle, and memories she was trying hard to forget. Lily hadn't planned to end up here. Home had been a place of shouting doors and broken promises, and one night she had simply kept walking until the city lights disappeared behind her. For weeks, she moved from town to town, surviving on odd kindnesses and long, silent walks. Every step hurt, but stopping felt worse. She believed that as long as she kept moving, her past couldn't catch her. Near a small gas station off the highway, Lily stopped to rest in the thin shade of a signpost. The place looked quiet. 2 fuel pumps, a flickering neon sign, and a row of motorcycles parked nearby. Their chrome reflected the sun like knives. Men in leather vests stood laughing, their voices deep and rough, patches stitched proudly across their backs. Lily recognized the symbol instantly, the Hells Angels. Her stomach tightened. She kept her head down, hoping to stay invisible. That's when she heard it, a sharp, terrified scream. Lily looked up just in time to see a small boy stumble near the edge of the lot. He couldn't have been more than 6 or 7. A motorcycle nearby suddenly lurched forward, its engine roaring louder than intended. The rider tried to brake, but the tires screeched, sliding on loose gravel. Everything seemed to slow down. The boy froze, eyes wide with fear. Lily didn't think. She didn't calculate the risk or the pain. She ran. Her legs pumped hard as she crossed the distance in seconds. She grabbed the boy and shoved him sideways, throwing him clear of the motorcycle's path. The bike swerved, missed the child by inches, but Lily's foot twisted beneath her as she fell. A sharp crack echoed through her body, followed by a pain so intense it stole her breath. She hit the ground hard, biting her lip to keep from screaming. The boy rolled away safely, stunned but unharmed. Lily lay on the hot pavement, tears blurring her vision, her foot already swelling at an unnatural angle. The gas station exploded into chaos. Boots thundered toward her, voices shouted. The motorcycles fell silent one by one. Lily tried to push herself up but collapsed, dizzy and shaking. She braced herself, expecting anger, blame, maybe worse. She had interfered where she didn't belong. Instead, the men stopped. A heavy shadow fell across her face as a tall biker knelt beside her. His expression was hard, but his eyes flicked from her twisted foot to the unharmed boy now crying in another man's arms. Understanding spread across the group like a quiet shock. She saved him, someone muttered. Lily swallowed, her voice barely a whisper. He was gonna get hit. The biker stood slowly, turning to the others. The boy clung tightly to his father, sobbing. The father's hands trembled, not with rage, but with fear at what almost happened. In that moment, Lily didn't know it yet, but her life had just changed forever. The world came back to Lily in fragments, harsh white lights, the steady beep of a machine, and the dull, pulsing ache in her foot. She tried to move and winced, a groan slipping past her lips. The smell of disinfectant filled her nose. A hospital. For a moment, panic surged through her chest. Hospitals meant questions, paperwork, and people who might send her back to a place she had run from. She opened her eyes slowly. To her surprise, she wasn't alone. 2 large men stood near the foot of her bed, leather vests draped over their arms, their faces unusually quiet. Another sat in a chair by the wall, arms crossed, watching her carefully, not like a guard, but like someone making sure she was still breathing. Lily's heart raced as she recognized them. The Hells Angels. You're awake, one of them said, his voice low but calm. Don't try to move. Doc says your foot's broken clean. Lily swallowed. I didn't mean to cause trouble, she whispered. I can leave. I don't have insurance or... Hey, the man interrupted gently. Bills are covered. All of them. She stared at him, confused. Why? Before he could answer, another biker stepped forward, holding the small boy she had saved. The child's arm was wrapped around the man's neck, his face buried against his shoulder. The biker's tough exterior cracked as he looked at Lily, eyes glassy with emotion. "That's my son," he said. "If you hadn't been there." His voice failed him. He cleared his throat and tried again. "You didn't hesitate. You didn't even know us." Lily looked away, embarrassed. "He was scared," she said simply. "Anyone would have done the same." The men exchanged glances. They all knew that wasn't true. Over the next few days, Lily remained in the hospital. A cast replaced the swelling, pain replaced by a deep ache that reminded her how close everything had come. Each day, at least one of the bikers visited. They brought food, real food, not leftovers or handouts. They joked quietly, careful not to disturb her rest. One brought her a small radio so she wouldn't feel so alone. Slowly, Lily began to relax. They didn't interrogate her. They didn't judge. When they learned she had nowhere to go, they didn't pity her either. Instead, they talked about options, safe ones. A friend of theirs ran a small diner and needed help. Another knew a woman who helped teens get back into school. They spoke to her like she mattered, like her future was worth planning. When Lily was discharged, she didn't step back onto the street. The Hells Angels made sure she had crutches, clean clothes, and a safe place to stay while her foot healed. The boy she had saved waved at her shyly every time he saw her, calling her his hero, which always made her smile and look away. For the first time in years, Lily wasn't running. She had taken a single brave step to save a life, and in return, a group of men the world feared had given her something priceless, a second chance, and the belief that her life could become more than just survival. Recovery was slow, but for Lily, it was the first time in years that slow didn't feel dangerous. The small room where she stayed was simple: a clean bed, a window that let in morning light, and silence that didn't carry shouting or fear. Her broken foot kept her from moving much, forcing her to rest, to think. At first, that scared her. Stillness used to mean memories catching up. But this time was different. The Hells Angels didn't disappear once the crisis passed. They checked in regularly, never overwhelming, never demanding anything in return. One of them, an older man everyone called Ray, brought her books and talked to her about life on the road, what it gave, and what it took away. Another helped her practice walking again once the cast came off, steadying her when her balance failed. They treated her with a quiet respect that made her stand a little taller inside. As weeks turned into months, Lily's world slowly expanded. She started helping out at the small diner owned by a friend of the club, washing dishes at first, then learning the counter. The smell of coffee and fresh bread became familiar and comforting. The regulars learned her name. Someone always made sure she got home safe. For the first time, Lily felt something close to belonging, not because she was owed anything, but because she was trusted. School came next. With help from a local program, Lily enrolled to finish her education. Sitting in a classroom again felt strange, almost unreal. There were moments of doubt, moments when she felt older than everyone else, heavier with experience. But she kept going. Every test she passed, every assignment she finished, felt like proof that her life wasn't broken beyond repair. The boy she had saved, Evan, visited often with his father. He showed her his drawings, most of them featuring motorcycles and stick figures holding hands. In every picture, Lily had a bright smile and a cape. She laughed every time, but the truth settled deep in her chest: saving him had mattered. She had mattered. Years later, Lily would look back on 1997 as the turning point. Not because everything became perfect. Life never worked that way, but because that was the year she learned one brave choice could change everything. She learned that family didn't always come from where you were born. Sometimes, it came from unexpected places, from people the world misunderstood. On the day she finally walked without pain, Lily stood outside the diner, watching a line of motorcycles prepare to ride out. The engines rumbled, powerful but controlled. Ray nodded at her, pride clear in his eyes. "Take care of yourself," he said. "I will," Lily replied. And she meant it. As the bikes disappeared down the road, Lily didn't feel abandoned. She felt strong, rooted, ready. She turned back toward the diner, toward her future, carrying with her the lesson that would guide her for the rest of her life. Kindness given freely has a way of coming back multiplied, and sometimes, the people who change your life forever are the ones you never expected to meet.